Welcome back, loyal listeners, to Season 2, Episode 5 of the Point 3 podcast. It's Wednesday, May 22nd, and we are thrilled to have you join us once again. I'm Spider Brando alongside Lou, your favorite two-thirds of trio of hosts. Hero Scroll is on a little absence tonight. And today we're going to be talking and jumping into the latest superhero news and hottest pop culture buzz from the past week, plus chatting about our favorite X-Men 97 moments and MVPs from season 1, because it's been a week since the season ended, and today just feels like a little bit of a void.
Yeah, we're mourning.
And we're also going to be putting Lou through a blind rankings of Variety's top 10 Spider-Man movies that they have ranked a couple months ago, and seeing if we could guess what their order is. So stay tuned for that. Get your thoughts and keyboards ready, and let's get into another great episode and start off with some rapid fire news. What do we got today?
All right, first thing, we know that the app world is changing and prices are changing, and this is going to be important, right? Comcast is launching Xfinity Stream Saver, which is a new subscription bundle for $15 monthly, which does include Netflix, Apple TV Plus, and Peacock with ads. Do we like this? Do we like that a cable company is now consolidating something along those lines for what is supposed to be kind of a decent price?
It feels weird, and I know we had a discussion on this a couple weeks ago when the rumor came out for it. I was somewhat of a fan of it just for the fact that you kind of have it's just cool to have a bundle and package deal of stuff, and also kind of just have these three things under one section, maybe, or one app. I'm not sure exactly how it's going to work when it comes to the integration between the accounts and stuff, but it's a good deal. For people, I believe you have to have like Comcast cable anyways, so it's not like really cutting cable anymore. But for people like my parents that still use cable and refuse to switch over to all streaming, it'll be good for them to kind of like segue them into the streaming world and potentially get them to cut it eventually, like to cut the cost. It'll be cool to see what other cable companies do, and there's probably gonna be a monopoly of like certain ones only offering
100%.
three of these streaming services, but then the other ones offering these three. So it's gonna be weird, but at the end of the day, all of these prices, all of these streaming services will always have their own subscription with them. So if you ever don't want to be bundled with all that stuff, you could always just get your own ad-free version and pay the extra price for it.
The extra price probably like 3 times the amount. So, wow. What do we got next?
We have the Street Fighter movie logo has been revealed, and I will pull it up as soon as I get some clicks in. Boom. I bet Hero would probably appreciate this a lot. I'm not too into Street Fighter at all, but from what I've heard about the people making the movie, they have made a couple like fan film Street Fighter YouTube videos before that were pretty solid from the little bit of research I did into it, and a lot of people are hyped out of it. It's made from Legendary Studios, so they have a pretty good track record recently. Yeah, I mean, it looks like what I always remember seeing, like the arcade Street Fighter games
100%.
having. So
100%. Maybe we can get our Marvel versus Capcom one day.
Hopefully, they got the Capcom in the bottom right there.
I'm ready for it. I'm ready for it.
But yeah, I'm ready for it.
Now, this next bit, we're gonna switch gears a little bit. We're gonna give you some DCU news. Superman is actually being shot entirely for IMAX. We know that recently we just got the first looks at David Cornsweet's suit. But an epic movie needs to be shot in an epic way. So this should look and sound and just flat out be amazing.
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna see it in IMAX. I just got my Deadpool and Wolverine tickets for IMAX. Stay tuned for some convo on that later.
Yes.
And I could just imagine just all the cinematography, especially when they do the fortress stuff. If they have them like flying to the fortress with the northern lights in the background or whatever, because it was filmed in Norway. Oh, that would be beautiful on some IMAX on some IMAX screens.
Yeah, I agree.
But keeping up with the Superman theme, James Gunn has revealed that Superman, a Chris Reeve story, is set to hit theaters September 2024. As one who doesn't know much about Chris Reeves, besides his falling out of Superman, I'd be very, very interested in watching this and kind of learning more about the situation and be able to appreciate it a lot more.
Yeah, I think it would be really good to get more background into previous Superman. But I like that they're promoting it and expanding the character. It kind of gives me more hope for this character and them, not taking the new Superman and kind of putting him above all, right? It's kind of like it feels more like a celebration of the character.
Oh yeah.
And
100%.
That goes a long way. Long way.
I just like how they're really hammering down the Superman brand in DC after these couple years where it was not tarnished, but spun in a lot of weird directions. Let's just say that.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it almost feels like it's a good repairing after that Flash.
Oh yeah. Yes, 100%.
Flash nonsense of like, what are you doing, DCU, EU? That's just yikes. But shout out to James Gunn. I'm gonna throw this out here real quick, and then we'll jump in the Marvel news. But he denounces the rumors of Booster Gold being in production, and has clarified production is imminent. Spider-Man, I have a question for you on this.
Okay.
His clarifications that he's giving week after week, month after month. How do you feel about him clarifying for a character like Booster Gold, who's kind of under the radar now? Like, is it worth it? Should he even have said it? Should he have taken the Marvel route and just ignored it altogether?
I'm happy that he said something on it. And I had noted in my notes here that Feige needs to take notes himself. Because once we get into that Marvel stuff, there's a whole lot of rumors, whole lot of reports going around of a lot of them I didn't even put on here just because they're reports and rumors. But we always say this, Gunn has been a great, great spokesperson when it comes to setting expectations for the DCU. And he has to, because this is his first take at a new DC universe, so he's trying to not level set expectations or set the bar too high. And I'm always a fan of whenever he himself comes out and sticks it to what it is,
Yeah.
Especially for someone like Booster Gold, who I don't know much about the character. I know he has a pretty decent following of fans that are very passionate about him. So it's good to not get them too hyped.
Quick side note. He actually on Threads did clarify that the events of Waller would be after the new season of Peacemaker. I think we kind of touched on that before when we thought those things were going to take place, but just go to the source. Like, I'm sorry, just go to the source. Like, if you have questions on the upcoming DCU, there's a really good chance that the answer is going to be from James Gunn specifically.
Yeah. You don't got to go through any, this reporter, this leaker said this. Is this even a trusted source? It's just the dude in the chair himself.
None of that.
But I want to give a quick shout out to Dill Pickle here. Welcome in. And onto some Marvel news that Spider-Man related. I know Dylan loves Spider-Man. You have the re-release of Spider-Man Homecoming came out on Monday for Sony's Spider Mondays, and somewhat shockingly, the opening day for Homecoming was the lowest of all opening days so far, earning only $285,000. Shocking to some people, it's not too shocking to me. These movies kind of just came out. They've been on Disney Plus for years, and people have had access to them for free, or not free, but they've had access. Actually, no, they haven't been on Disney Plus for a while because of Sony, but they're
No, but
more.
you've
They're
seen
more
this
recent.
movie.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like
Compared to like a Spider-Man 1 that a lot of people might not have even been able to see in theaters and wanted to experience it.
True.
Whereas the bulk of the people today probably saw this movie in theaters originally.
Honestly.
Yes. Also, speaking of Spider-Man, we want Kitty Pryde to be Tom Holland's Spidey girlfriend in the MCU. That would be interesting.
That
It's Black Cat, though. Sydney Sweeney Black Cat. I'm banking on that.
Yeah. That's something that we might get. Something that we might get. We'll see where they go with that. But moving on to the next piece of news, a Vision series is officially in the works with a 2026 release date. I gotta shout this out, Spider Brando. We were talking about this in Discord, and we talked about this before we started streaming. Shout out to Jack, Captain Cupcakes on X, with comment of the year so far. Jack says, people consistently asking, where's Vision? And then they complain when a Vision series is announced. It's so funny to me. What do people want? It is like classic MCU fandom right now for that to happen. To be honest with you, though, it is kind of odd because I think that there are rumors or news. I want to say this came out either today or not. Potential for a WandaVision season 2.
Oh, I have not seen any of that, but I saw something the other day about her own solo movie potentially like being in development again, or like the gears ticking with that, and a potential like SDCC preliminary announcement, but not about like a season 2. I don't know how I feel about that. I don't know if I'd want her in a TV show again.
Well, lame. I just nerfed myself on a live stream. It's the Vision series.
Oh.
People are calling it WandaVision season 2, but it's a follow-up. Oh, good clarification. Man, I don't know what it is. This clickbait bug has gotten me the last like week. So
It's
hard.
hard out there. And that's why you need people like James Gunn saying what's right from wrong.
Yeah. Massive L.
But,
jeez.
Yeah. I'm excited for this show. Not really excited for it, but it'll be. I like Paul Bettany's acting, so.
Listen. I'm just flat out saying, and this has been a continuation, and we'll probably bring this up a couple more times for the MCU news, but I still need Marvel, whatever they want to be called, to tell me when this quality control thing's happening, and what does a Vision season 2 have to do with anything for the multiverse saga? I have no idea. Yeah. But you want me to invest my time in like a year and a half, so be it. I'm probably going to watch it, but this phase is just weird. The saga is weird. Like, I don't know if a Vision show was on anyone's radar to be like, yeah, that's exactly what I want next. So
we'll see. But something that we all want next and right now is Deadpool and Wolverine pre-sale that started on Monday. Broke Fandango's box office record for first day sales in 2024. Not of all time or anything, but just of 2024 movies so far. And has already earned $8 to $9 million from first day ticket pre-sales. So based on those reports, it's expected to earn more than $100 million opening weekend. And AMC has also reported that it's the most It's the most first day ticket sales for an R-rated movie ever. And my question to you, Lou, that something we've also talked about in the past. Will this be the first rated R movie to break $1 billion? And I
Oh
am happy I
man.
get to ask you because of your past answers on this.
Oh, I still gotta stick to my guns. And that this is gonna be a $700 to $800 million movie when it's all said and done. But the writing is kind of on the wall for me to really just like eat my words. Like the highest, like it is smashing so many records and so many things.
If they show that cowl before the movie comes out, you're done.
Dude, the
Like,
only thing that
this is all with just, like, 2 trailers and that didn't really show much. I know that 3rd trailer is probably gonna show something for it to really get the hype going.
I'm sad to admit this, but if I'm right and this isn't a billion-dollar movie, then that means the movie kind of sucks in ways that we're not expecting it to, which is a no-go. Like that's the only way that this movie doesn't hit $1 billion at this point. Like it's breaking records, it's hype. People are going to show up. Opening weekend's going to be nuts, which is going to drive more people. Will this movie have legs? I don't know. That's the quality of the movie, and I hope I'm wrong on this one. I really, really hope I'm wrong on this one.
Well, it's crazy to think that we will find out in just about 2 months and a couple days from this day. Did you happen to get your tickets yet? Were you part of this 8 to 9 million?
I wasn't. I like being a part of the opening weekend, but in my area, it does not matter what movie it is. You can pick your seat at any point. And I just, I want to see it ASAP. I mean, when are you seeing it? Thursday?
I'm seeing it that Thursday night at 7:15 in IMAX. I got 10 tickets ready to go. Freaking like second row from the back, right in the middle also.
Dude.
I couldn't get anything closer because I usually buy tickets for all my friends or just like a random amount and try to fill them in. If they don't get filled in, you could just easily refund them easily through the app. But yeah, I saw that second row from like all the way in the back was open for 10 right in a row. I'm plotting my seat right in that middle, and I'm making one of my friends pay for my ticket because it's my birthday a couple days later.
Nice.
I will never stop talking about my birthday in correspondence to this movie. Strikes again.
Get the $40 icy.
I'm excited. Oh yeah, I'll try to get them to get my snacks too.
Yeah, all the snacks. Dude, that's $100 birthday thing. That's like, yeah, wow.
I'm excited. I can't wait for it. Probably gonna try to get a popcorn bucket too. I hope I can.
Oh, that'd be legit.
I don't even know what it is, but I'm excited.
Are they doing like early? Do you know if there were showtimes for early Thursday or was
there
it?
Was they had like a 3 p.m. They had a 3 p.m. like early fan premiere one, in Dolby, and that was the one Dolby showtime that my theater had. Like they didn't have any Dolby after that, which I was surprised about.
Interesting.
But yeah, I saw that there. I don't know what it entailed. I think it came with like a poster, or at least the AMC version. I didn't look into the local Regal around me. I think it said it came with like a poster and might have been something else, but I was in such a rush to get the tickets. I had to get 10. Like I just had to get those seats before anything. And I would have loved to see it at 3, but with work and life, it's hard to make that time.
Fair. Interesting. Okay. I don't know what the earliest showtime is by me, but I've seen. What did I say? I think I saw Venom at like noon when it came out. Venom 2, which I think I was like Venom one of the only 2 people in the theater at that point. So
you're probably low for Venom 3 also.
Yeah. But switching to some X-Men-ish news, Michael Leslie to write the MCU X-Men. He has credits for Hunger Games, Ballad of the Songs and Snakes, Assassin's Creed, Beth. To Spider Brando, is this a good move? Because not one of his movies has over 7 stars on IMDb besides a short called Eleanor.
I am indifferent on it. I'm not familiar with. I haven't seen a single movie that he's ever made or written before. But just from the IMDb ratings, they don't seem good. So it gets me a little concerned. But he has also something that I had looked into a little bit is Hunger Games was kind of like a way to rebirth the Hunger Games franchise. Assassin's Creed kind of revitalized the Assassin's Creed franchise a little bit. Macbeth kind of revitalized the classic Macbeth Shakespeare story onto the big screen. So he does have a nat. I don't know what word I'm trying to say. He does have.
He's got a nod.
he's got a tendency to work on films for franchises that kind of need a little like a pick me up. So it's interesting if Marvel may have taken note of that for this one, but I don't think they would have needed a certain person like that, especially after the success of X-Men 97. And this dude has got a whole lot of shoes to live up to after that.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, we'll see. When I hear screenwriters assigned or attached to Marvel MCU projects, are you going to be sticky? Are you going to stay? You know, it's early. Who knows what they're going to do with the X-Men? So we'll see.
There's so many different reports on it. It's hard. Like I believe he's in negotiations still. So like it's not like official, but it is from Deadline, and they did say that Marvel and him are in negotiations for it. So it's likely gonna get done, but you never know. It could even just fall through.
Yeah. I would say more likely to fall through than not.
Yeah. So we'll see. Going into something I'm a little excited to talk about, which I said I didn't put many rumors on here. This one is definitely a rumor that's been circulating very long, is that none other than Taylor Swift may have a role in the MCU after having a good meeting with Kevin Feige, according to Daniel, our best friend, Daniel RPK. There's previous rumors of her appearing as Dazzler in Deadpool 3, just given how close-knit she is to Ryan Reynolds and Blake Lively. Those, we don't know until 2 months from now if that's going to happen. There's this report that she could be playing in a 1950s Disney Plus Marvel show called Blonde Phantom. So that would be interesting. I don't really see her playing in like a 1950s show, especially when Dazzler is legit right there to be taken for. So yeah, I'm still banking on the Dazzler cameo in Deadpool or some form of cameo in Deadpool. The math just adds up too well.
Yeah. Dazzler, yes, makes sense. Definitely cameo level, 100%. I know that Blonde Phantom was attached to a secret project that Scarlett Johansson was supposedly working on for the MCU. That stemmed from her time with the whole Black Widow debacle. I don't see a Blonde Phantom working out. I know Blonde Phantom was, if you guys know the history of Marvel, pre it being called Marvel, Timely Comics did kind of a revamp, and the Blonde Phantom was aimed at female readers specifically. And Blonde Phantom actually was created by Stan Lee. The artist was Sid Shores from that standpoint. So a lot of history when it comes to being kind of the origins of the MCU, but I really don't think anyone would like this.
If people want a Vision show, I don't see why they would want this.
No, the only saving grace is that it would be Taylor Swift, who's going from secretary to private detective type of character. And yeah, I mean, 1950s is everything you kind of need to know. This could just be a one-off. Like, I don't know why they would ever do this. I really have no idea why this would go.
It seems like this came out at just like a random time in between the past rumors of Dazzler and before Deadpool and Wolverine comes out. Just throw us off the trail of those cameo rumors again.
Yeah. No, give me Dazzler and hard pass on Blonde Phantom. Just period. But speaking of Disney Plus, we have gotten news that Wonder Man is set to release under the Disney Spotlight banner. Spider Brando.
Yes.
We didn't really love Echo here at the Point Through podcast. The promises of the Spotlight banner, you didn't need to know anything that came before it. Wonder Man's never been in the MCU. Why would we need to know anything about Wonder Man in the first place? Weird expectation. But one quick question. Do you think that announcing Wonder Man's going to be under the Disney Spotlight banner is a good thing for the future of Wonder Man? Or does this feel like it would be a one-off and we're not going to see the character again?
It makes it feel like it's going to be a one-off and we're not going to see the character again. I'm still not into the whole Marvel Spotlight thing, and we'll get into a little bit of this in the next couple minutes. And it's just like, I don't know, because like it makes you like, you'll say you don't have to watch anything for Wonder Man. Obviously, there's nothing to watch in the MCU predating it. So it just feels weird to kind of, I guess it does make sense to put it under a spotlight for that purpose then, but I don't know. Spotlights just, to me at the moment, just feel like they're one and dones. And I'm not too, it gets me a little less excited for it because I would like it to be a television project to hopefully get more. Or like see him connected into other shows or something.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, just say special presentation, just leave it alone.
Yeah,
like,
even that. Yeah, they even stopped the special presentation stuff.
Yeah.
Like what, Moon Knight was a special presentation, I think.
Werewolf by Night.
Werewolf by Night was a special presentation. So like something like that would have been like that. It would have been perfect as a special presentation.
The only thing I would say is maybe because maybe they're going to be existing characters that show up in this, like how we got Kingpin with Echo. You know, I don't know where they're going to go with Wonder Man, but I'm curious if it's not going to be brand new and it's going to pop up in an existing world. So
that could definitely happen. But next up, speaking of some of these comments on where knowing, actually wait, no, that's the next section I'm throwing right now. No, I'm not. I can't read. Brad Winderbaum has said on the MCU's future that the hope is that, like the comics, you can just pop in anywhere and have a satisfying experience. You're trying to dispel the idea that you need to do any kind of setup work to watch anything else. So, with that quote, and the Deadpool and Wolverine director a couple weeks ago, Sean Levy, has said that he made the movie geared for people to not have to do research prior to viewing, as he understands there's a lot to potentially have to keep up with. And It's a lot just for someone to go back and watch all those corny X-Men movies. So, with those 2 comments and the Marvel Spotlight comment and Marvel's recent decision to create the 3 separate divisions of Marvel Studios, Marvel Animation, and Marvel Television, and also having Marvel Spotlight, which I don't know, I guess that falls under Marvel Television.
Yeah.
Do you think this is the beginning of a new MCU soft reboot on how we consume media for them? Because to me, I don't it'll feel weird to just say that, like, you could just watch Deadpool and Wolverine without watching anything else. Like, I get they'll probably explain it, um, compared to just, like, picking up a random comic book and reading it. I feel like it's just 2 very different types of media that I would like to do the research on the, like, watching the films before, but I understand there's, like, a million comics that I will not pick up and read before then, if that makes sense.
Yeah, so there's kind of a few ways that I look at this. And I think right now Disney Marvel is doing the best that they can to kind of quell the noise that's surrounding the MCU right now and segregate some of these issues into different buckets so that the perception of Marvel Studios will increase, right? So if we're saying like, we just looked at, I have figures back here that have the Marvel Studios label on them. So that it's not old like Mattel toys or something. It's like, oh, it's an MCU toy. It's a new Marvel toy. Like they're using that in their marketing and their branding, right? There's that association. However, post Endgame, post 2019, the connotation that's associated with Marvel is it alive? Like those conversations are running rampant right now. And then you go back to the whole Vision thing of like, what's going on, but we don't want it. Like, give us an answer, but we don't want your answer. Like, we want a better answer than that. And that's difficult, right? In the position that they're in. The hard part is you get like Echo, which was under the Marvel spotlight. And for the first episode, for the first 30 minutes, they literally recounted all of her backstory and what she did in Hawkeye. So when people see that and they're like, whoa, Ronan, I remember Ronan from Infinity War and Endgame. Like, that's cool. If you didn't watch Hawkeye, you probably want to go watch Hawkeye. All those scenes were from Hawkeye. And then kind of in the light of X-Men 97, there was the 92 series, and you could go back and watch some episodes to prepare you for certain kind of storylines that popped up throughout the 10 episode season for season 1, but it was so good that you really didn't have to, and you could sit there and enjoy it. And that's where I'm at right now is Disney Marvel is promising this increase in quality and reduction in quantity. We literally just ran through how many projects that are going to be set in the production. So when is that going to happen? Is it actually going to happen? Is the quality going to be high enough for your live action stuff to where people can be okay without filling in the gaps? That's my big question. When you sit here and say like Deadpool, Wolverine, just enjoy the movie. And what Ryan Reynolds just came out and said, like, temper your expectations, essentially. Like, it's not going to be anything crazy. Like, stop overthinking things. Like, just simplify it, sit there, watch the movie because it's going to be kick butt. And like, we made this for you guys. Okay. Those are just a handful. Those are drops in the bucket, really. And my concern moving forward is the quality going to be up to par, project after project, show after show, movie after movie, to where people don't care to go back and fill in the gaps because you guys just didn't write it well enough. You didn't produce it well enough to satisfy people to really walk away from the end of a season or walk out of a theater to say, that was awesome. Like, that was just flat out awesome. Like, the MCU is great. Like, it is thriving right now. Go check out our conversation around the MCU and the Golden Age, because we kind of allude to this transition period that we're kind of in. Um, I don't know, man. I don't know. I'm hearing it, but I think I got to see it.
I agree with that. Until they actually make use of all these different banners, it's just the same for now. Like Agatha is the first Marvel television show. Woo. Even though it's gonna be like if you haven't watched WandaVision, you're not gonna have any idea what the heck Agatha's about. So that right there, you have to go back and watch it. Unless they like really explain it and it's like unless they really do explain like the story of everything that happened and like a recap or anything,
Yeah.
but I
But
don't know.
but
It's
okay,
even then, like you still you still probably would need to know much of the story from WandaVision.
you still have to go back, right?
Yeah.
So let me ask you this though, because I think the MCU and the people who are kind of in the know realize that they're never going to be able to duplicate what they did for that past decade for the Infinity Saga. Like we're never going to get those feelings back. We talked about that just a couple of days ago. You're not going to feel the way that you felt for the first time ever to see a connected cinematic universe, especially for superheroes, right? But that was kind of the draw and what made Infinity War and Endgame feel event level and beyond, and why people were lining up outside theaters was because you invested the time to go back and watch Captain America, Iron Man 1 through 3, Avengers, Spider-Man's here. Oh my gosh, let's do a watch party for Homecoming and blah 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 blah. Like you as a fan wanted to go and watch. It didn't feel like a chore to be like, oh, I need to go see one of the greatest movies that are most hyped in the world that has $2 billion and whatever. Like, that's not the case. So it's kind of confusing for me when they say the hope is like comics that you can just pop in anywhere and have a satisfying experience. Yeah, that's great, but it's got to be good. And a lot of the
Mhm.
MCU was really good and it was fun and it made you want to watch what came before and what's going to come after. Right now, if someone were to pop in and say, "Oh my gosh, like let me watch the Marvels," for as much as I enjoyed it, and you can pop in and do that, it's like, so we're not going to have post-credit scenes? So who are these characters? Like, why is there a blue furry guy in the corner when she shows up in a hospital and then she's like, "Mom," and she's like, "I'm not your mom." If you don't know anything that happened before that, you'd be like, what is going on? And you're not going to get a follow-up and get satisfactory answers for a very long
Mhm.
time. So that
Uh,
that is like, to me, that sounds like they're taking the MCU out of the MCU.
ooh, I like that analogy. But yeah, it's just I've just gotta wait and see what happens and truly
Yeah,
how they execute
yeah.
things. But I don't want to take too much time on that because we got some other quick comments that Brad Wonderbaum has also brought up.
Oh,
He
Brad.
has recently talked about, for those that don't know, he's like the head of Marvel like TV shows, right?
Mhm.
Yeah. Um, he has a quote on a potential Spider-Man 97, 98 series, which states, "Oh, that was supposed to be a ticker. Uh, I don't want to close the door on anything, but I think that for now, X-Men and X-Men 97 will own the 90s. So it doesn't seem like we'll be getting a Spider-Man 97, 98 anytime soon, but they would be stupid not to within the next 2 to 3 years because it's free, it's easy animation, you don't gotta connect to the MCU. I get they got your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man coming out, let that do its thing. It's only like a origin pre-MCU Spider-Man. They can't do much with it anyways because we know Spider-Man's MCU origin. So
Right.
once that fades, give us freaking 98, 97 and let us eat. But
I agree.
speaking of X-Men 97 owning the 90s, as owned today's day and age, and we got some more to talk about with it, such as our favorite moments and MVPs of the show. Do you want to start this off with one
Well,
or the other?
big shout out to X-Men 97 season 1, which is currently sitting at 100% critic score on Rotten Tomatoes and a 94% audience score. One of the best Marvel things you'll ever lay eyes on. But moments that came into that, I got to be honest with you. As soon as the finale was done, the very next day after I was like, I couldn't sleep. As soon as I sat down, I literally put it on first thing in the morning and ran through the season again. Let me tell you, I loved episode 5. I loved episode 5 during the first run. I watched it back with a couple people. Like it was massive. Massive. But seeing it again after this is over for how hyped the finale was, episode 5 is by far and away one of my all-time favorite episodes of anything across any medium at any time, anywhere. It was awesome, from just Rogue and Gambit, Rogue and Magneto, Magneto, Rogue, Gambit, that weird triangle. You get fun, like you get to Genosha and you see the mutants and you get your first final, when was the last time anyone saw or heard anything about Genosha? Maybe never. Right. So it was world building that happened there. Nightcrawler, you get your council of people. Magneto takes his next step into the next leadership role. And it's like, you want me. And it's just everything that they kind of played with for the first 4 episodes kind of came to a head for kind of that big mid-season moment. And then, I mean, I love great song choice, but watching Rogue and Magneto like dance and have their moment and stuff like that right before Cable shows up and talks to Madeline, and then boom, like the bombs drop. Oh my, what a build. What a build, and what an execution and resolution in less than 40 minutes. Like, it truthfully is, to this day, for me, I haven't felt that range of emotions since watching Avengers Infinity War. Hands down.
Damn.
Hands down. I'm with all those gifs and screenshots, even still, like my 5th or 6th time through.
Okay. I haven't gotten to rewatch episode 5 yet, but I did rewatch episode 1 and 2, I believe. But oh boy, episode 5, that's been one of my favorite moments as well. Yeah. Your favorite episodes. It's like you said, built up what the first 4 episodes kind of foreshadowed, paid off, got every type of emotion possible in one freaking thing, and set haywire for the rest of the season. Yeah. But I do have a different favorite moment.
Okay.
In that show. What really, really, really hooked me into X-Men 97 was one little quote. I believe it was the first episode. Ooh. And it was Cyclops to Storm. Show him the forecast. Oh my god. Just goosebumps from that, right? Just goosebumps still. Oh. That's what, like, I was hooked into the show from what happened prior to that. But once they did that, and I was like, yo, I've been missing out on X-Men animated series all this time. Like, the MCU has been missing out on a freaking live action Storm. Yeah. The MCU has been missing out on live action X-Men after, even before that, you got the Gambit and Wolverine claws together, like right before that. And then they showed Storm going freaking fully natural, batshit crazy on the weather. The animation was crispy. Oh my god. That was such a cool moment. Such a awesome freaking moment.
Yeah. That's probably like my 1A, 1B, because those are the two things that I was looking, because you guys, I was super hyped for the show. Like, it quickly ramped up for me. And I think as soon as I saw episode 1 and finished it, I was like, this is it. Like, this is absolutely everything that I want, because it was one of the coolest super moments. I think from the moment where they left and then like his, I mean, can we just say for a second, like Black Widow and all them got their super entrances and their landings, but my guy is like, no, like you guys are good. I'll see you on the ground. And then, and you're thinking for people who are new to, I saw this like this guy didn't have wings, he didn't have a parachute. Like it kind of reminds me of in Winter Soldier, you know, in Cap's there and he's talking to Rumlow and all them. And he
Oh yeah.
opens the back and he's just like, see ya. And then they're like, did he have a parachute on? They're like, no, that's just how he rolls.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, that's exactly what this was. But it was this whole squad who just knew already. And he was like, wham, right to the ground, lands and hits To Me My X-Men. And that was just so cool.
So beautiful.
Cool.
They really did Cyclops great in this show. And even I forgot there's something Hero pointed out a little bit. How he used like his beam to like land himself on the ground.
Yeah.
And stuff. Oh,
yeah.
It actually, is that what you just brought up or what you were describing? Oh, yeah. Sorry.
But no, but even through that though, I think that was a big thing of just the very beginning establishment. Like episode 5 for me was just, you know, it built, it was big, it was massive. But episode 1 and 2 did such a great job of establishing characters. And I can't think of anything off the top of my head where one scene can put someone on a map, but also remind fans of how great a character was all at the same time.
Oh, yeah.
And just kind of pull people into center from two extreme, you know, points. And yeah, I just, they made such fans out of people as nuts. Who's your MVP though? Any honorable mentions first. Any honorable mentions to who you were considering to be your MVP, but they were missing just the slightest thing that couldn't get them to that title.
Nightcrawler. I needed a little bit more of him. But from when he first got introduced back into this show and every scene he had on here, I was just hooked on all his dialogue. He had a lot of quotes with trying to remorse with Rogue. I believe about their past relationship and stuff. He had that quote with Wolverine when they're fighting a bunch of Sentinels. Or Wolverine goes, I got 6 reasons why be your problem, and Nightcrawler comes out and make that 9. And 3 tails. Every scene that dude was in just stole it. I've always low-key liked and had like a warm spot in my heart for Nightcrawler from Ultimate Alliance. And this show kind of just put it exactly how I'd imagine him in animation.
Yeah.
So he's my runner-up. I just needed a little bit more out of him, or like need more screen time.
Yeah.
Who else was you? There's a lot that I feel like
tons. If I were to say like my MVP is like an S tier, and if I were to go start with my B tier, I really like Sinister, but just enough. Like we saw enough to make Sinister feel sinister, but I feel like Sinister wasn't the focal point as an antagonist. But the other character who I really, really, really liked and grew on me, and I just love the way that they used them, was Morph.
Yeah,
I thought Morph was great. Like every time Morph was on the screen, I wanted to see more of Morph. Not only just because they were using Morph as kind of like that awesome cameo type character, but just how complex Morph actually is. And a lot of people are like, is Morph into Wolverine? What's going on with that? What does that look like? And a lot of people didn't understand why that was. And this is kind of one of those things where you have to maybe go back to the 92 series to really understand and see how it played out. But they did a decent enough job to kind of hint at kind of like why the trauma with Sinister, what happened, and kind of what they didn't want to do when Sinister was around. But I think that they could establish Morph in a way that, you know, Morph is kind of an unknown character, and I think they can morph into something even greater than we saw. So, but my A tier honorable mentions, I got to go Cyclops and Rogue. Cyclops and Rogue were fantastic. I never thought that I would be saying Rogue would be a darn near MVP runner-up. I was hoping that Cyclops would be the MVP, but my MVP stole the show. One of my favorite characters all time in Marvel, and I could not have asked for. This was like my Thanos.
Should I get Chef's Kiss ready? Because I think your MVP is also my MVP.
Unless you changed your MVP in the last week.
I have not changed my MVP in the last week.
I have not changed my MVP either. So do the honors. Drop the MVP and give us your thoughts why you chose him.
So my MVP of X-Men 97 is none other than Magneto. That dude, menacing, tried to be a team leader, tried to fulfill his promise to his best friend growing up. We went through it all in these short 10 episodes, and boy, did he execute what Magneto, like how powerful a Magneto would be of all time. As much as I love Fassbender and Ian McKellen as Magneto, this Magneto is menacing. Yeah, speaking about dialogue, like not only Nightcrawler quotes, everything Magneto said was just boom. It was
my God, perfect.
Chef's kiss. Everything was just his suit was pretty cool. The big M grew on me. Everything about how he was willing and like going with Charles's plan was great up until he was like, screw this, and like wanted to fight for his own people. It was great morality duality between the team, Charles and him. And he ultimately did the most for the show. So he's my clear-cut MVP.
100%. 100% hands down Magneto, just beginning to end.
Double Chef's Kiss going.
Double it up. I think Cyclops carried through the first, 4 episodes. I think Rogue kind of picked up the torch and ran from there and had, her moments towards the middle of the back half of the season. But Magneto was from day one to the end to just hit you with just some of the most heat dialogue. Who would have thought the big M purple suit would actually work? But I was like, I'm kind of feeling it. Like it's actually legit. And then they still paid it off to put him back in his OG suit. Like, voice actor sounded good. He looked good. His powers were wild. And just, you really feel like this Magneto would be a problem across any animated world. Not, throw my guy into an Attack on Titan, it's game over. But I know it's weird to say, but it's just, point being here is he doesn't even have to have a power display, but could you imagine him just like sitting across from some of these people in like our anime and just like the conversations that they would have, like just some lines, just picturing those things. It's just crazy. But
I would love to see him and Goku interact. Goku, he would just snap instantly on him.
Could you imagine? Dude, him and Vegeta would be best friends. Oh, that'd actually be like
that's a match made in heaven.
That's actually really cool. That's really cool. But no, I think Magneto overall just really embodies like what you want from a character to kind of blur those lines of what's good, what's evil, who's he going to help in the end, what's it going to look like, and they can explore so much more with Magneto. But I think the big thing that I want people to kind of know, when you look at Magneto's powers and how he used them versus when he refrained from using them, that to me is why I say he's on par, if not potentially above a Thanos, because he didn't destroy just to destroy. And at all, in any time, he could have that whole time. through all those episodes, if he wanted to flip the lights off, he could have flipped the lights off. If he
Mhm.
wanted to throw the moon into the earth, he probably could throw the moon into the earth or an asteroid or something along those lines. Like, but he really did try for a very long time. And he eventually had his breaking point. And you see a lot of people doing Thanos was right. Like, yeah, I agree with Magneto. And when you can say that about a villain in a show, that's how you know you got him. That's how you know you got the fans.
Oh yes. Yeah, he's clear cut. He held back up until he couldn't hold back any longer. Spoilers for the ending, or for episode 10. I really thought they were gonna do Onslaught for a little bit
Dude, I
of
did
it, and that
too.
would have been cool. But oh man, just when Charles was in his mind, oh god, I
It
love
was
that
nuts.
too. Just
It's nuts.
interactions between them and a Magneto that didn't even remember like half of stuff was still badass.
Yeah.
I love it. I love him. I'm very happy. Before 97 came out, I bought a Magneto Funko from like
Yeah.
a Hot Topic, one of the first like Marvel Funkos. I'm so happy I bought that. So
Yeah.
happy.
Yeah.
But yeah.
What a show. If you're watching this and you haven't seen it, go start episode 1, and if you have seen it and you're watching this, restart episode 1 because it is worth a rewatch just to see all the greatness that was X-Men 97 season 1.
Mm-hmm. You got anything else to say on 97?
Nope, I just love it and I'm probably going to watch it tomorrow.
Yes. I might put it on after this. I'm not gonna lie. But without further ado, we have a special new segment that we're trying out of blind reacting to certain rankings. So we have a Variety article from about 2 months after Across the Spider-Verse came out.
Mm-hmm.
They decided to update their rankings. Joe Layden from Variety, or writer from Variety, is the one that made this article. And he ranked his Spider-Man movies from worst to best. So what we're going to do here is I know what the 10 are. Lou doesn't know. So we're going to go from 10 to 1, trying to guess what their orders are of worst to best Spider-Man movies.
And this
Pretty
came
simple.
out after Across the Spider-Verse.
Yes.
Okay.
This came out June 4th, 2023.
Okay.
So like legit immediately after Across the Spider-Verse.
I'm just trying to think if it's going to be one. Top 5.
You're gonna have to guess that.
Okay.
Okay. Let me put my little banner on.
So
we're gonna start off. I love it, right? It pops.
Yeah.
So we're gonna start off with number 10. What do you think is a Variety's worst ranked Spider-Man movie?
It's got to be a Toby or Andrew movie. I'm going to go in Andrew. Amazing Spider-Man 2?
You are right.
Okay.
Amazing Spider-Man 2 is the worst ranked Spider-Man movie from Variety.
Didn't we just talk about this? How we were like, why does it get so much shade? Like everyone says it's the worst.
It's very, very underrated. I need to do a rewatch of this movie so bad. Dylan, if you're still here, I did reply to your message about what I liked and didn't like about it. So definitely go check it out if you haven't.
Good call.
And for anyone else if anyone else wants to see it, join our Discord. I talk about Spider-Man way too much. We all talk about Spider-Man a lot, and would love to have more people to talk about Spider-Man with. So, link is in our bio. But next up, given that we got one Andrew Garfield movie out the way, and we got one Spider-Man movie out the way, still got 9 more to go. Would you say is number 9?
I'm
gonna keep a ticker tracker at the bottom just so
this is legit.
Keep track. Dude,
I gotta go.
Nice.
I'm going to go. I'll say Toby's worst. Because I think with a reboot, it can't be. There's no way they would go back to back. Because at least people love Andrew, so there's got to be something. So it can't be that one. However, I think it's pretty obvious the worst Toby is Spider-Man 3.
Ding, ding, ding. I gotta get a soundboard. That's something that we gotta invest in.
Is Spider-Man 3?
Yep, it is Spider-Man
3. Okay.
So number 9. Oh, wrong one.
Ooh, 2007. Oh, I would never have gotten that year right, but.
Oh, yeah, it's not asking about the year. It was just, that was just there. I don't know, just to differentiate it.
Okay.
So you are 2 for 2 so far, with 10 being TASM 2, 9 being Spider-Man 3. I know you're not gonna get. I'm not gonna say it. I said what.
This next one. I was
gonna say I know you're not gonna get a perfect 10 out of 10 on here, but
given the time,
go on to number 8.
I'm gonna say potentially. I'm gonna throw it out here. Oh, I don't know. I was thinking maybe Tom's worst movie then. But I think I'm gonna go Amazing Spider-Man 1.
Wow. I swear you've read this. You must have read this before.
No. Is it? Okay.
It is the Amazing Spider-Man 1.
Well, these are like typically when we talk about all these, the order.
These are the lower ranking ones.
These are probably the lower ranked ones. Now the question is, do we get into Tom range at all? Because now I'm trying to think. We have Andrew's done. We have Into, Across. Then we get in the Toms. So of Homecoming, Far From Home, No Way Home. And then Toby's 1, Toby's 2. Nope. Am I off? Is that too many? 7, 3. No, that's right.
No, yeah, that's right.
Those are all of them, right? I'm not missing one.
Yep. Those are all of them.
Man, I gotta go with my gut here, and I gotta say Far From Home. I gotta say Far From Home. It's not Far From Home.
Okay. Before we do any more guesses, should we do? Given that there's only like 10 to choose from, I've seen other blind rankings do this with like subjects that have like 100 different options to choose from, so it makes it a little harder.
Yeah.
Do you want to do more than one guess on here, or just keep it at one?
All right, let me do 2 guesses, and then 2 guesses.
As we get closer and closer, we're gonna have to only limit it to 1 though.
It's not Far From Home.
It is not Far From Home.
Then I gotta.
One. We gotta discuss this one.
It can't be any other Tom. Then I gotta go Spider-Man 2. What?
This right here is why I'm just gonna pop it up there. They have this at number 7.
Dude, I never would have guessed that in a gajillion years.
Yep. This pains me. I will read the description of why they called it number 7.
Please do.
Keep in mind this is like immediately after the movie came out.
I know, but I wasn't thinking.
Which is what that's what I'm saying. I would never guess this. But Joe says, call it too much of a good thing and you won't be far off the mark. The second animated Spider-Man feature focuses on neophyte Spidey Miles Morales, slightly older and marginally wiser than he was in Into the Spider-Verse, but also gives near equal time to his sweetie, the equally arachnid enhanced Gwen Stacy, aka Spider-Woman, and adds to the mix a veritable army of distinctive spider people who each do in their individual corners of the multiverse when they're not banded together in a Spider Society designed to maintain borders and discourage interlopers. I don't even know what that sentence I just read even has to do with, and it was just a huge run-on sentence with bullshit words that
Yeah.
I don't even know. Next thing, trouble is the start and stop pacing required to accommodate so many new folks makes for a bumpy ride. I can't freaking read. Trouble is, the start and stop pacing required to accommodate so many new folks makes for a bumpy ride, as turbocharged action sequences that often recall the framing and flamboyance of the original comics are interspersed with buzz-killing stretches of backstory, spinning, and meandering character development. Worse, this sporadically impressive but discomfortingly overstuffed extravaganza concludes with a brazenly shameless to be continued cliffhanger that could very well inspire members of the audience to shout rude things at the screen. I don't think this dude saw the movie.
There's
Joe Layden, because everything that he said in here is like, it's just utter bullshit to me. It just doesn't make it. I can't just sit here and say that. Who cares if it's to be continued? I would like to see what this guy said about Empire Strikes Back or freaking any other classic movie that had a cliffhanger ending. Like, come on. The pacing
wow.
was great. The movie felt like it was 2 seconds looking back at it because so much went on. And they didn't have to meander or cater to any new folks. They casually introduced all these millions of spider people just as is. Did the whole same introductions as they got from like Into the Spider-Verse. So
Wow.
yeah, this
Okay.
huge
Okay.
shocker. I would huge shocker to
Okay.
switch up.
I will take the L on this segment, but Joe took the L on just career.
100%. He's
Okay.
0.3. He's not 0.3.
Not so
Chef
uncertified.
kiss, uncertified,
Just
nothing.
no. Yeah. No.
Yeah.
No. Wow. Okay.
So moving on to number 6.
What do we have? Andrew's gone. Worst. I'm gonna go worst Tom. I'm gonna go Far From Home. I'm gonna lock in Far From Home now.
It was Far From Home.
Okay.
So far, we've only got one wrong, which is good.
With a massive asterisk next to it. But here's the tricky part, because if Joe isn't really loving Spider-Verse, I will say oh man, this is tough. There's no way he goes back to back, Tom. I'll say Spider-Man 2.
Nope.
Okay, so he loves Toby. Okay, he loves Toby, which means it's either the next worst Tom movie, or for some blasphemous reason, since he hates animation, he's gonna hate Into the Spider-Verse. I guess a top 10 5 isn't bad for Into the Spider-Verse, but all right, hold on. Give me a second. Worst next Tom. Homecoming? No.
It's not Homecoming.
Then it has no. Joe would not dare. It's not Spider-Man. It's not Spider-Man 2002. Are you serious?
Joe put Into the Spider-Verse at number 5, saying winner of the Academy Award for Animated Feature, this dramatically and visually exhilarating Spidey adventure is at once respectfully faithful to its comic book roots, with a wink here and there, of course, and exuberantly freewheeling in its incorporation of other pop culture influences, both multifaceted and multicultural. The underlying conceit: each parallel universe gets a Spider-Man it deserves and needs. Obviously, radioactive spiders are constant everywhere. In parentheses, he said that. So when there is a passing of the mask from veteran web slinger Peter Parker to eager novice Miles Morales in our world, he's able to draw on the assistance of such otherworldly Spideys as a hard-boiled Spider-Man you are, and an out-of-shape but game-for-action Peter P. Parker. It is meant as high praise to say the screenplay, credited to Phil Lord and Rodney Rothman, would have worked just as well in a live-action film. So the fact that he has all that to say about Into the Spider-Verse and all that blasphemy to say about Across the Spider-Verse doesn't make any sense. Because, like, Across the Spider-Verse legit did a lot of the same stuff, but, like, just more and better than Into the Spider-Verse. Like, that took pop culture influences, took multicultural influences into it, took other Spider-Man, a whole lot of other Spider-Man with Miles and teaching them. But yeah, he's got them at 5 and 7.
Wow. Ooh. Okay. I would love if we did a list. So here's my dilemma, because we have 4 movies left.
Yep.
Tobey Spider-Man from early 2000s. Then we have Spider-Man 2, which I thought would be on this list already, and it's not. And Tom Far From Home, or
left.
Yeah. No Way Home, Homecoming. No Way Home was no, so there's no way it can be No Way Home, and I'm definitely gonna say it's not gonna be Tobey 1, which is Spider-Man. So now I'm between Homecoming and Spider-Man 2. Simply because I think that the next one should be Spider-Man 2, and Joe does not know what he's talking about. I'm actually probably going to say it's going to be Homecoming because it's going to be blasphemy. So I'm going to lock in Homecoming.
Homecoming has been locked in at number 4, and it was coming in at number 4.
Which, do you agree? It has to be. Spider-Man 2 is not in the top 2. Spider-Man 2 has to be number 3. It has to be number 3.
Well, now you're definitely down to one guess territory, so
that's fine.
Is that your final answer for 3?
It has
Spider-Man
to be.
2?
I'll quit the game if it's not Spider-Man 2.
It was Spider-Man 2 at number 3.
Okay.
And now,
wait. Do you have Spider-Man 2 that high?
Personally, I do have it pretty high.
You do? Oh man, I don't know if I have it over those two.
Really?
Yeah, I don't. I love Spider-Man 1. I think Spider-Man 1 is, I think it is, but I think most people probably have No Way Home as their best or top Spider-Man movie. Mine's going to be Spider-Man.
I did a recent ranking list the other day. I gotta pull it up for like our future reference.
Yeah.
But yeah, we got 2 left. Well, you get 1 guess for this one, and that'll tell us whatever this one is. Tell us what number 1 is. Obviously,
I mean, it seems like he loves Tobey. So, for that reason, 2. I mean, I think Spider-Man 2 is good, but is it number 3? I don't know. But if he has it at 3, is No Way Home better than Spider-Man 1? What do you think is better? Is that fair for this game, or is that like not? I can't ask that question. You don't have to say why.
Oh,
don't say it. 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 I'll just pick one. I'll just pick one.
Say after, but I found my list that I made, so we could talk about that a little bit.
No Way Home.
And with that being said, No Way Home.
Give me Spider-Man 1.
So, with that being said, Spider-Man 1 is Joe Layden. He really carries the L in his last name with this ranking list.
Oh, how do you? I don't understand that though. I'm going to be honest with you. I don't. Yeah, he does carry the L. I don't get how you have Spider-Man because I think Spider-Man 1 No Way Home, I got it. But to have Into the Spider-Verse and Across the Spider-Verse so far
it doesn't
back,
make sense.
that's kind of weird to me.
It doesn't
That's a
make
little
sense.
weird. What did I get wrong?
What? So you had gotten
the animated one?
You got number 7 wrong, which was Across the Spider-Verse.
And 5?
5 wrong, which was Into the Spider-Verse. And I think that was it. You got 3 right. You got 2 right, and then 1 was obvious after Process of Elimination.
Yep.
You got Homecoming right.
Not bad.
You got 10. You got Amazing Spider-Man 2 right. You got Spider-Man 3 right. Amazing Spider-Man right.
All right.
So yeah,
80%.
Solid. But dude, listen, I told you weren't going to get 100 on this just based on the blatant fact that Spider-Man Across Spider-Verse got 7. And this is why I hate that list. And I, like, last week when we talked about planning for this, I told you guys that this list was freaking bullshit. And listen, everybody has their own opinions, and we respect everybody's opinions here. But to put it Across the Spider-Verse at 7? Oh my god. Like, no. I can't say Far From Home is a better movie than Across the Spider-Verse. As much as I love Tom, and as much as, like, I do enjoy Far From Home with the Mysterio sequence and just, like, what it did for Tom's story, I can't say it's a better movie than Across the Spider-Verse.
Yeah.
So, I don't even know if I'd say it was better from Homecoming. But a list that I had prepared, my unofficially official Spider-Man list from my own, from 1 through 10, would be Across the Spider-Verse at 1, No Way Home at 2, Into the Spider-Verse at 3, Spider-Man 2 at 4, Spider-Man 1 at 5, Homecoming at 6, Amazing Spider-Man 1 at 7, Far From Home at 8, Amazing Spider-Man 2 at 9, and Spider-Man 3 at 10.
Oh, yeah. That's money.
I feel like that's a pretty solid list, right? Give or take. I want to do a rewatch and marathon like all these movies again and put them in like a new order. But at the time, May 2nd, 10:28 a.m. that I was chatting about Spidey list, that's the order I was feeling. So
yeah. I would probably go Spider-Man 1, Into the Spider-Verse, Across the Spider-Verse, then No Way Home.
Okay. That's valid.
I would put those. I just think those first 3 kind of stand on their own a little bit more than No Way Home. Like No Way Home was legit, but like those other 3, like you don't have No Way Home without other stuff.
Exactly.
I guess you don't have Across, but I just think their foundation's a little bit stronger and like embodies more of Spider-Man than like literally seeing never before seen stuff with Spider-Man. Like that's my biggest differentiator for one of the most epic movies. All of them are like, dude, this is a list I would love to talk about. Like we could take 10 weeks and break all these down, like just week by week, and it would be the best thing we've ever done.
Oh yeah, that'll be fun.
Damn, that was good though. Joe, what are you doing? Like, what are you doing though?
I don't know. I can't believe this article hasn't been updated or anything since then.
I will say this. I had Across the Spider-Verse when I was like, how soon did this come out? Because I thought it was going to rise up the list. But I was like, well, if it just came out, maybe they like level set it because it didn't sink in. I had it at like 5. I thought it was going to be 5 on the list. But Into was 5, and I thought that was going to be higher. Wild.
Crazy time.
That was fun.
Like I said, everybody, we respect everybody's opinion. So for people watching back on this, don't think that just because you don't agree with us that we will automatically criticize you as much as Joe Aiden throughout this episode. Because we know everybody comes from different backgrounds and goes and watches these movies with different expectations. Like, I'm a big hater of War for the Planet of the Apes, but everybody freaking loves that movie. I had a bad experience watching it, and it doesn't sit right in me. So many things I can nitpick about that movie, so it's probably the same way this guy felt about Across the Spider-Verse. But as us who are very, very passionate about Spider-Man and these characters, sometimes we like to criticize some rankings and
Critique.
Yeah,
Just a little tweak
healthy
here, a little tweak there.
Yeah.
It's positive.
So,
I hope he's thriving in his career. Just
I hope so
not
too.
watching Spider-Man movies, but
Exactly.
thriving.
I hope he's not ranking anything else or any other Spider-Man content. I want to know what he thinks about Madam Web. Now that we're thinking about it.
Oh my gosh. It is taking me 3 days to make it through that movie, and I finally got to the scene where Ezekiel and what's her face are sitting in the chair, and it's that like dubbed over part. And the guy literally, it's like, if I said right now, like, "Hey, Spider Brando, how are you doing?"
So bad.
Like, it's just off so blatantly.
Bad. Did you get to the tweaked quote yet?
No. I think the last thing that I just got up and walked away, and I was like, I think I should probably wash dishes or something. But the last thing I saw was like they were in the diner, and she had her clairvoyant moments multiple times after that, to where like they were dancing on the table, and they're like, "Don't go anywhere," and they're like, "Cassie said, don't go anywhere, guys. We're not supposed to.
Yeah.
You always like to blah 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 blah." And he shows up with his
so bad
suit. The egregious moment though that also drove me nuts, this is where I stopped watching actually and got up and walked away, is because, dude, my guy shows up to a diner, just crashes in there, like does his thing, right? He's upside down, no problem. He walks outside of it and he has to take, like, let me take a phone call and take my mask off just so everyone can like make sure they know it's me.
Yeah, that
Why?
was stupid. That was
it was so dumb. Like, go away. Like, I don't know. We need to talk about this movie one day. We need to talk about this movie.
Down for it. Oh my god, I will rewatch it just like have a little refresher on it and criticize the heck out of it.
The nods to Spider-Man moments in that movie are, I don't say this word often, but they are cringe.
Mm-hmm.
They are cringy. Like, let's play a name game. What are you gonna name him? I don't know.
Oh god, I hated that scene so much.
Those are so bad. Although I do have to say though, I don't think Dakota Johnson is terrible. I don't think she's terrible in the movie.
No,
and if she's not bad. She's not bad.
She was given very bad things to work with. She got Andrew Garfield, in my opinion.
Yeah, she grew on me through this.
Yeah.
And I was like, I kind of feel bad for you that you're a part of this. I do think the girls are just bad, though. Like, no offense. Everyone was talking up Sydney Sweeney, and I'm like, what?
Nah, she did nothing in that movie. I hate all the 3 teenagers. They all had some stupid ass, like, excuses as to why they didn't want to be around their parents or whatnot.
Yeah, it was like past the dialogue.
Like, oh, there's I think you got to the scene because you're at the diner yet, but they're talking about you got to the diner part to where they like drove into the woods, all right?
Yeah,
yeah.
I remember when they're in the taxi.
Yup. I remember before that they were like, I have nowhere to go because like my parents are gonna care that somebody's chasing after to kill me, even though they're millionaires. Like, gee, maybe you should call them and they could get a police private and get investigator on your ass in the protective service. And like they could have, like, how are you gonna say that all these children's parents did not care about their well-beings and to just contact them that like they're being chased down by a murderer? But no, gonna have this random lady that freaking abducted them, which somehow got cleared of the abduction charges super fast. Oh my god!
But here's the best part, though.
Moments in that movie.
Dude, I looked at my wife because once they got into the motel, they basically did like pass the dialogue of like, this is why my parents don't love me. And they're like, oh yeah, well, this is why my parents. And it was just like,
yeah, that's exactly what I'm talking
again.
about.
And I'm like, didn't you guys literally just say this like 20 minutes ago, the same exact thing? And then they get to Cassie and she's just like, well, my parents don't, I didn't have parents. And it's just like, oh, like your problem's bigger than our problems. And it's like, okay. But here's the hard part with that, though, is because you can kind of take that and like make that as a bonding moment. Instead, they were just like, oh, my mom was in the Amazon and researched spiders. I should leave. Again, it's like, that's the trigger for this moment for you to be like, I think I know the origin of my powers. Like, what?
It's so random.
It was so weird. It was just so weird. And she gets there. I lost it after this. I actually did go further in the movie because she's like, oh, a spider. And they have her like the cameras in the corner of the wall, and she like tries to like climb the wall as a spider. It just slides down it, and I'm
that
like, ooh.
So, I kind of like, I laughed out loud at that just for not in like a good way. If that makes sense.
100%. 100%. I was like, what is going on right now? And she's like, oh no, probably can't do that. And I'm like, no, why would you think, like, you've been having visions, but all of a sudden you're like, I could scale this wall. What? Like you're struggling to know if things are like happening in real time, and your first thought is like, let me test out if I can climb this wall with shoes on. Like, what?
I mean, I get like if she saw Ezekiel do it, it's the thought. And like Toby tried it. Toby had his moment of wall scaling, but like she had no right to do it. She had no right to do it.
But here's the thing, though. If she was in the diner, right, like she drives through the thing and like smashes him with the cab, that's fine. But you smashed him with the cab because you know you physically can do nothing. So my question is, what gave you the thought that you'd be enhanced in any sort of way? You didn't chuck a table really strong and then like look at your hand real quick and like, oh, I can do this now. Like, no, you just flat out read a journal. You read it. Oh, this is my last thing I'll say, and I swear we can stop this live stream because I'll ramble. But my favorite part is she opens a journal and she's like, okay, spider, I can do this. And then the very next page, you're thinking like she needs to learn a lot more. And the exact thing that she needs to learn is on the very next page. Like,
close the book.
Yep, close the book. Like, I figured it out. You read 2 pages and you're like, mystery solved. It's just weird.
Oh,
it's just weird and funny. This may take the cake over Morbin.
I'm not gonna lie, I still haven't seen Morbius, so I can't compare the two. But
watch party.
So I would be so down. I'd be down for a double feature. Morbin, Madam Webin time.
It's our most participated. Go figure.
Dude, sometimes the best watch parties are the ones that you get to like genuinely talk shit and trash movies with people for.
Oh, shout out to all the anime fans that are like gamers and love like trash games and stuff, and like the themes that they use for that, because it's a real thing and people can bond over this stuff. So again, it might sound a little negative to those that are watching, but promise it's all in good fun. But with that, everyone, Spider Brando, did you have anything else?
No, that was it.
No. Thanks for joining us. It's a fun time. I hope you all followed along when it came to the variety ranking list. Some curveballs were thrown there, but we knocked the rest out of the park, so not a big deal. But until next Wednesday, or if you're subscribed to the channel, the next video, which will be dropping to a screen near you soon, need you to keep doing 3 things. Very important, near and dear to the Point 3 podcast. And that is to keep watching, to keep reading, and to keep nerding out. We'll see you Wednesday, 9:10 Eastern, right here on YouTube, Point 3 podcast. We'll see you then.